We got a thumbs up.
We got a thumbs up.
It's our first thumbs up ever.
It's not my first thumb up.
We were already off to
But I'll tell
a
you
rip-roaring
what,
start.
we got the wrong tech producer because he did go in 5,
4,
3. He actually said 3,
Okay,
2,
come
1.
on. Do the thing.
Oh no! Wait a minute.
Do the thing. Do the thing.
The thing?
Nobody knows who we are yet.
Oh, I know. Well, that's what I was saying. The thing.
Yeah, the thing.
Hey everybody, I'm Sean.
I'm Jen.
We're the Midnight DBAs,
It's midnight.
and it is time for
It's midnight on the East Coast.
DBAs at midnight.
I can't believe you did that.
Whoa! This is for your focus.
Yeah, sure.
Focus?
Beat me to it. Beat me to the punch.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Today is September 17th, 2010. We have, you want to hear the groupie update?
Sure. We're pretending to start the show. Ow, I just popped my toe.
We have 30 groupies, and 14 of whom have sent in their DBA love and are in the Parliament of Owls.
I'll say 14 of whom are actual people and not crawlers.
Well, no. These are real life registrations and peoples and things.
Robots, we call them.
That's very
nanites, if you will.
What? Why am I checking my phone in the middle of a podcast, you ask? I don't know.
Because it's what you do, right?
It's what you do, because it's that Pavlovian thing.
Okay. So,
right.
wow, we've got...
What have we got?
We've got a group of 5 DBAs, including the famous, ultra-famous...
Super ultra famous.
Grant Fritchie.
Hi, Grant.
Hi, Grant. We love you, Grant.
I did want to say on the air and on the recording, he was super, super nice and super supportive right before my set, and I was really, really nervous, and he's all sending me stuff. So thanks a lot, man. That really meant a lot.
24 hop and just waxed his ass.
That's not exactly how I was going to put it, but I didn't actually hear the final numbers. If someone comes up, LaRock might know. Did I wind up setting the attendance record for the entire 24 hours of Pass, or just up to that point?
Or just for my session?
Yeah, sure. I had the most attendees in my session. But yeah, that was... God, was that only yesterday?
Only
yesterday. So yeah, 24 hours of Pass ended yesterday, and I had my forgotten T-sequel session.
I have been so busy, I didn't get to see a single one. We have been slammed at work.
I actually watched Alan White's. His was like the first or second one.
I wanted to see Alan.
It was neat.
I mean, I wanted to see Alan.
I wanted to see Alan.
But so we hired our new DBA finally. I forgot to tell everybody that last week, but he's not going to be here till November.
Is he moving from the moon?
No, he wants to go back home and visit his family for a month first.
Whatever.
Well, okay, so
family.
So okay, that's one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is I don't mind people taking a vacation, especially between jobs. That's
you.
mighty white of me, isn't it?
Wow.
And I don't mind them going to see their family overseas.
Wow, jeez, you were just like the
But
nicest
there's
dude.
just something about Indians that they always go for a month.
Well, come on, if you're going to fly 28 hours to get someplace...
Come on now,
I'm gonna stay
let's
for a
be
freaking
serious.
year.
Let's be serious. People are people, am I right?
Okay.
And we can't spend a day at my mother's. How the hell do you go visit your family for a month?
You know, I gotta kind of give you that one.
I mean, that's what I'm
Bless her heart.
Yeah, I know. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that like, oh my God, I can't believe it. But it's like, how the hell do you go home for a month? I'd kill my mother.
Well,
that's all I have on that.
Oh, great. Now it's recorded.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's no good.
That's evidence right there, mister.
So 24 Hop was
24 Hop, yes.
a raging success. I've got the code up, anybody who wants it, the code up on the blog, and that's kind of all I have to say, because if I go on about it, I'll be gushing, because man, I had a lot of people come to that session. And a lot of positive response after. I mean, we already talked about this.
I had so many browsers open.
And we already talked about this. People who I think people that think ill of your session, or who think it was just kind of okay, mostly just keep their mouth shut. So
I think you're talking specifically about me. I was like,
no, not you specifically, but in general. So, you know, I got some positive. I guess the real key is whether or not you get any positive response back. So
yeah,
there you go.
I usually get
and man,
2 or 3 or 4 decent responses from my sessions. Nothing like the gazillion D100 you got.
75.
And nobody the caliber of Grant has ever commented on any of my sessions. So.
Oh, you poor thing. That's something I don't. Okay, last thing I'll say about this, I think, is that makes no sense to me, because, okay, let's just say this outright. Sean knows more than I do about databases. He's been in it longer. He studies harder. He's been in bigger shops. You okay?
No.
And
I got something in my head. I'm just trying to get it out.
And I don't know. Maybe it's because I stick at the beginner level, and there's a great. Well, you know, your stuff a lot of times is at the beginner level. I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe it really is because I'm prettier than you. We're gonna take a moment to whisper. Apparently. Sure, absolutely. Thank you for whispering that.
Well,
just a brief note. We did have a T-SQL Tuesday that really passed me by, but I did manage to. What I did, it was on indexes, so I just grabbed an old indexes blog and repurposed it for that.
Nice.
Which is it's within the rules that you can do that.
Absolutely.
But
here coming up pretty soon, probably probably in October, I'm going to do another free PowerShell thing with Pragmatic and Rocks.
The one in October. I thought you said there was a paid thing in October.
There may be. We're not sure if we're going to start it in October.
Maybe
or not.
no, actually there.
Yeah, we're not sure if we're going to start it in October or not.
Okay.
So, you know, I was talking to him just yesterday, and anyway, there you go. So, but at the very least, we'll do another free one. I like doing those little free 1 hour things. I really do. You remember I tried to get that going with O'Reilly. You remember I did one for O'Reilly like last year or year before, and they were just so hard to work with. I couldn't get one going every month because the girl was so hard to work with. It's like she just wouldn't respond to me, and then when she did respond to me, I was like, okay, let's do it. I would set it up right after the other one. So how'd it go? She goes, oh, it went great. So okay, good. Let's set up another one for next month. I say, how about on the 22nd? She said, okay, the 22nd is great. And then I'd get there like the 20th or the 21st and say, okay, I haven't seen the notice come out. You know, when's the notice going to come out? And she said something like, oh, well, you never really confirmed with me in writing and the thing. And I'm just like, because so many people say that they want to do it and back out and everything, but I've done 2 of them with you.
What do I have to do?
What do I have to do? And it just...
I want to jump right into something today.
I just got tired of that. Anyway, so I'm glad Pragmatic. They're very easy to work with, and we just do it. We set a date and we do it.
I met a bunch of them with you at PASS, and man, bunch of good guys.
Yeah, remember those were the old MCTA guys, the guys that you met. So those were the guys that were out with us when Walter Scott was running things, and they were the guys that we were going out to dinner with at like Fogo's, and they were running up like $3,000 dinner bills.
Gnawing on the table legs.
But they were, that was that group of guys, man. They're just, wow, they were just wild back then when they had Walter's gold card. When they had Walter's gold card.
Back in the crazy 2000s.
Yeah, well, you know, that was like 04.
Yeah, I was trying to say mid-2000s and I screwed it up.
But anyway.
I want to jump right into something. We had another plagiarism scare, we'll call it, this week. That went interesting.
Jim, here's a poll for you.
Jim, here's your poll.
Here's a poll for you. Find out how many people 2 years ago, how many of the people watching 2 years ago couldn't even spell plagiarism by heart. And how many of them can now?
Do I have to spell plagiarism right?
IAR. Because I had to look it up. When the first time I wrote about it, when that big cornhole hit, I had to look it up because I was like, I've never actually written that word before. And
so this is kind of a two-parter because I've got the discussion, part of which we've already had, and then I've got something big.
Okay.
That I'm very, very happy about. We had, and I posted about this. This was Tuesday. That I'm sorry, I forget who. I think it was Dave Levy that found the plagiarized content. And man, this guy was like SQL Tech 2 in that he had just a huge ass ton of content copied over from various things, including one of the full Quest page product pages, like with the Quest thing down at the bottom and everything. And it's like, what on earth? So
worst plagiarist ever.
So we kind of, it's funny the way that the community is kind of, you know, Twitter's a hive mind, right? And we in the SQL community kind of do that too. We sort of all move together. And the first time around, everybody just went and ape shit and started tearing their hair out. And this time around, everyone was a lot more cool about it.
We're becoming more sophisticated at how we deal with them.
Yeah, because we've got our rap down, and everybody runs off to Brent Ozar's blog and goes, okay, what's the first thing that you do again? Because he's actually got a what to do if you find your content's plagiarized blog.
I see.
And I went ahead and posted, and I said, okay, everybody, we've got another one, and you know how I feel about that. So everyone leave him a nice comment, and I did mean nice. Let's not start another flame war.
I'm gonna say, do we have to call Denny in for another
no
session?
kidding. But almost immediately, he took down the entire blog, started writing people back saying, I'm sorry, I didn't realize, I'm new, the whole, and you know, we're a little bit jaded to such things, because that's exactly what SQL's like. Oh, I didn't know, man, I didn't know what I was doing, I'm new to this blogging thing.
You know, seriously, I'm getting sick of that, because it has nothing to do with blogging. You went through school, you know you're not allowed to plagiarize, don't be a jackass. I'm still, my stance hasn't changed. I am fed up with I had no idea I couldn't copy somebody else's material and pass it off as my own bullshit. I'm not stupid, and I don't expect y'all to be. I don't expect y'all got through school without ever hearing the word plagiarism or having it explained. I just don't buy it, because it's a blog now. All of a sudden, it's okay. It doesn't make sense to me, and I don't care what country you're from. Every country in the world has plagiarism.
I think there's a couple of things going on, and while I'm with you, and I'm really against plagiarism, I'm willing to. I was originally going to put this guy up for cornhole of the week, and I'll go ahead and. I'm not going to use the aristocratic one. Where's the other one?
No, because that was for extra special one.
Okay, I was going to put this guy up for a cornhole of the week, but I was holding off judgment to see. I was like, all right, well, we'll see. But he wrote me back, and he was writing to another guy and copied me in to kind of explain, you know, his thought process on the whole blog thing, and he had really put it up as a reference for himself. So he was copying off his material from questions he'd answered in forums, and then when he found a good blog post, he copied it over and so forth. And just, he didn't publicize it necessarily, but he didn't make it private either. And I think that's where he really went wrong.
Yeah.
Is you should, that's an excellent use of a blog.
Absolutely.
Keep it
Make
private.
it private.
But that's where I'm kind of taking it easy on this guy and saying, okay, he's not the cornhole of the week. You took everything down, you wrote everybody back, you commented on my blog. All right, man, well done. You know, okay. Go thou and sin no more.
You get a freebie.
You get a freebie, absolutely.
You get a freebie.
Now, this is the thing that I've been so excited about, and I've barely been able to contain myself. I didn't even want you to know anything was coming.
I've said that a few times myself.
About a week ago, we went looking online. I don't remember what my inspiration was. I thought to myself, cornhole. I wonder if there's some sort of something, you know, let's see if someone's done like a cornhole t-shirt, because it's not, we didn't invent the word, right?
No.
Just to see, you know, what in its infinite wisdom the internet has come up with.
Oh my.
I discovered that cornholing is actually a game. And it's not what you think. It's this.
It's always been a game with me.
It's this game where you take these bean bags, these little bags filled with corn, and there's a board, and you toss it in. And I don't know how the whole thing works because I don't
heard of that game.
But even better than that,
I have heard of that game.
Even better than that is there are associations dedicated to cornholing, and I got us hats from the American Cornhole Association. And it came in today.
The ACA.
When I got home from work. And
Freddie, how are we?
And it's got the picture of the corn on it.
Oh, that's great. Here, I get the...
Oh, do you really want that one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I got one of each kind.
Oh, wow.
Is that not the greatest? So, honey, happy cornholing day. Oh, that looks
fabulous.
Fun. And...
Oh.
We gotta show it. Isn't that the best thing ever?
Well, you got two cameras to point it at.
Here, you can both see it,
That's
right?
good right there, yeah.
I've never been so happy in my whole life.
That is fabulous.
Here you go. You can put that in there.
Put that in there. Well, that one's almost empty. I'll put it in here to keep this one cool.
Absolutely. So I've just been...
Randy says we need to wear those at pass.
Yes. I'm going to wear it everywhere. I'm going to wear it to work. And people are going to be like, what's that all about? And I'll be like...
Are you kidding me?
So,
you mean you're one of the 3 that doesn't know?
Yeah, no
That
kidding.
is fabulous.
Are you kidding? Everyone cornholes, darling.
I was just about to say I was having trouble getting it in.
Wow, that's ironic. So I have just been
That is
absolutely dying to tell you
Yeah, I bet.
And haven't.
Okay, so that is an excellent segue
All right.
into
I'm
my
so glad
into
I
my
helped.
first real bit.
Do tell.
No,
I'm going to
The-
fix this because it's going to bother me.
the string is bothering me, so I'm going to put the string behind.
There you go.
So, okay, so my first bit is we usually do a cornhole of the week.
Yes, we do. We've got the hats now and everything.
And we got the hats now. And this week I have actually got some mad props to give somebody.
Really?
Remember last week we were looking for the opposite of a cornhole,
Right, that's right.
right? So this week I want to honor, since the cornhole last week was Microsoft, I want to give Microsoft some mad props this week.
Ooh, look at
Yeah.
you being all yin and yang there.
I know,
You
right?
got the yin,
And you got the
and you got the
yang.
yang.
Yin, yang, yin, yang. So anyway, I have done 4 SQL installs today.
Have you?
I have. And that is the nature of this week's recognition. Because Microsoft has done some fabulous work in their config files for the install. And I've talked about this a little bit in the past, but it is absolutely fabulous. You know, I've got I've got a config file for most of the installs that I do, and all I have to do is open up the setup, go to Advanced, point it at the config file, and walk away, and it does everything for me because I've got the service
Fancy.
account set up, the initial SA account set up. I got the SA password. I got all the features installed. I got where it's the drives it's going to go on. I mean, absolutely everything just ran. It's beautiful, and the work they've done in R2 is really cool because it's got some extra flags. Now this is a little bit of a caveat, right?
Okay.
If you've got an 08 config file, you can't just flat out use it for R2 because R2 has some extra flags, not only that it requires, but some that you're going to want to use, including, and I haven't fully explored this one yet, but it's got just a flat out install all defaults flag. Right? Pretty cool. But it
We make
does
the face.
But it does have some extra stuff in there, so you can't just take an 08 config file and say, oh well, I'll just use it for R2. No, it'll blow up. But absolute mad props to them for how well the config files work. Now, I'd like to be able to do my clusters that way.
Yeah.
And while you can put config files around clusters and do the first node and the second node, right, and put them both, it's not as practical because you've got to name all the disks that it's going to have access to, right? And the disks are numbered like disk 1, disk 2, disk 3, disk 4. And so since you've got to do that and a couple other minor things that can change, it's not really as easy to configure from one cluster to another unless you've got a really strict customer.
It's not a set it and forget it.
Yeah, unless you've got a real strict company standard on exactly how every one of your clusters is going to look and every one of your disks is going to look the same and all that, which is very rare, right?
Yeah.
But it's still, you can still do it for the node, for node 2, because adding a node to another cluster is going to be relatively straightforward. You might have to go in there and change 1 or 2 little tiny things, but that's why I've got a separate file for every single type of install, because once I get it, I don't want to have to rely on going in there and making a couple little changes and potentially mess it up.
Yeah, sure.
And then change something else for the next one. No, so I've got a standard install, an enterprise install, this install, that install. So I've got a list of config files like this long that I do, and I just go in there and pick the one I want for 32-bit, for 64-bit, for so on and so on, for, using this service account, using that service account, because you've got to put the passwords in there, right? So, because, and where does the config file come from?
Unicorns?
Yes, actually. Now you can create it from scratch, but that would be stupid. You go through the wizard, through the install, and set everything exactly the way you want it. And right before you hit go, it tells you.
Do you want to save these settings?
No, it tells you down there. We've saved these settings here.
Ooh, that's even better.
And you just go there and copy the config file. Now, the one thing it doesn't do is it doesn't set It doesn't put the service passwords in there. It doesn't put any passwords in there. You've got to go put them back in there. I think that was a smart choice on their part, because all they got to do is save the passwords in there and have somebody put it on an unsecured drive, and then turn around and say, "Well, you put the passwords in there. I didn't know they were in there."
Yeah, if they're going to save it for you automatically, then make it secure.
Exactly. So that was a big CYO on their part. So all I got to do after I do that is I go in and I put in all the passwords and name it what I want it to name it, and it's gorgeous, right? And one thing I really like about the difference between R2 and RTM was in RTM it had an install path. It hard-coded the path to the installer, which actually gave you some problems sometimes depending on how you access if you were on a network drive, depending on how you access that. But they've taken that out in R2, and it's not even in there, because why would it be? You've already started the install. Why do you need to know where the install path is? You've already started it, and all you need to do is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
I never understood why it was there to begin with, and they've taken that out, so kudos to them, right?
So tell me,
So
if you were looking for the opposite of a cornhole, then what did you come up with?
That is why Microsoft is the first recipient ever of Sean's Golden Shower of the Week. How am I coming through there, Freddie?
To the left, right there.
There we go.
Yeah, a little more. Well, yeah,
now,
right there.
lest
There
you
we
all, by now, many of you, our regular viewers, will be going, "Hey, that's pretty good. Kiddo did a good job. Oh my God, you had Kiddo do a golden showers. Why don't you tell
Get
them?"
your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah, he kept it very, very.
No, he kept it very, very. Get your mind out of the gutter.
I'm sorry, when I hear that, I think
This is a shower of gold, and it's raining gold.
And there's a gold bar down here.
And there's a gold bar down there, and he's sitting here thinking, wow, wouldn't it be great if I had a gold chair and a gold dog, too? So, the very first recipient ever of Sean's Golden Shower of the Week. So, Microsoft,
we shower you.
I give you a nice, wet, golden shower this week for your install files that you have worked, for your config files in SQL that you have put so much time and effort into.
You know, it occurs to me, we actually just right before the show saw Steve Jones did one of his, what's the name of his podcast again? I see it all the time, and it's like
I know.
talk radio DBA
It's
thing.
like the Daily DBA.
Everybody else is going to know but us. We're stupid.
Yeah.
So maybe this will make it onto some sort of Microsoft website.
Yes,
as
it
a
will.
customer recommendation.
Yes, it
That
will.
seems extremely likely, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know, right? So anyway, that was one of my big things. That's my special award this week. Let's check in with Freddie. Freddie,
Yes.
what does the chat room look like right now? That's a
Not so
little
big.
window with a lot of writing in it, but that's not important right now.
Well, let me report the poll results, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Poll results.
repeat the poll to begin
2
with, because I've
years
already
ago-
forgotten.
2 years ago, could you even spell plagiarism?
Okay.
We have 8 people say yes, 5 say no, and 2 say they weren't born 2 years ago. I added that option myself.
Fair enough.
Well done. As long as we're... Go ahead.
Overheard via Andy Leonard by SQL Rockstar. I'm going to name my disc Fred.
Ooh.
Nice.
Everyone was really happy about the Golden Shower of the Week award. that was really nice.
Outstanding. It was all
Nice.
you, baby. Hey, as long as we're at it, now who's going to tell the story of how Freddie brought down the whole Midnight DBA
Okay.
website?
I'll tell the story.
And show...
And you can interject where you want, all right? I'll let you interject where...
Real quick, chat room, can you hear Freddie okay?
So-
and you can start telling the story.
Okay, so Freddie decided that we've complained and warned and guarded about our blogs, our blog URLs so much because it has to be a capital J or capital DBAR ant, right? So he said, hey, I'm a Linux head. You're a recovering Linux head, aren't you?
I think so.
Yeah. He said last night, he goes, there was a time when I thought Linux was kind of alright. I was like, kind of alright? Dude, you were like a Linux head. You're, oh no, Windows sucks. Look what I can do in Linux. Every server in your house was Linux. Don't tell me you kind of thought Linux was alright.
Now, see, I'm surprised he has that, because I know there are people way more Unixy than me. So I was surprised to see that he had that impression of me. But there you go.
Every server in your house was Linux.
Because it's free. I couldn't afford Microsoft.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But now you can download trials. So
yeah, exactly. So anyway, so he got it in his head to fix our URL problems, right? So that we could have ambiguous cases to make it case insensitive. So,
tested carefully and lovingly on my own server before I touched theirs.
Tested carefully and lovingly.
Yes, exactly.
I'd say test. That's a front runner for the name of the show.
And what type of system was that, Mr. Windows guy?
It was whatever you're hosting with. I believe it's running Linux though.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so he got on and he started changing a file on the root of the drive, and he was FTP'd in, and he got the changes made to the file. And this is a text file, right? What's the name of the file again?
It was HT-Access. Actually, I was just starting to rename it to back up the old one.
Yes. So he went to rename the file and brought both of our blogs down.
I'm sitting on the couch.
He brought all of Midnight DBA down.
You're shouting.
So no, not yet. So
he's over there going.
So he brings everything down. Now, for those of us who have been in IT for a long time, we don't believe in that kind of coincidence. And he is one of them. We do not believe in that, because if you just did something like 2 seconds ago, 10 seconds ago, and all of a sudden everything's messed up, dude, really?
He's over there being all Lando Calrissian. It's not my fault. I didn't do it.
I know. So those types of coincidences don't exist. Kick it off. I will let you finish the rest of that because it's just so juicy.
I was very puzzled and disappointed to see that renaming a file would have taken down the server. And I went through all my geeky stuff, checking for other websites on the same server.
Here, I'll even turn the mic.
Yeah, that's better. And as it turned out, other websites on the same shared host were down also.
Oh my God, you took out other websites?
I took out the whole server.
Jesus.
And it's like, part of me's going, okay, renaming a file shouldn't take down a whole server.
Wow, Linux really sucks.
But over 99% of the time, when you touch it, it goes down. It's your fault.
It's your fault, sure.
However, I prepared an illustration on how this is not my fault.
Here is Freddie Jim's illustration on how this is not his fault.
As it turns out, just coincidentally, the moment I renamed the file, 2 transformers exploded in Provo, Utah. Or maybe it was a little before then.
He screwed up so bad he blew something up in Utah.
That's right. Renaming
transformers in Utah?
Renaming a file does not, to my knowledge, blow up transformers anywhere except Provo, Utah. But
well, a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah, so apparently there's one of those 1%er times where it's just coincidence. I didn't take it down. Transformers went boom, and the data center, for some reason, couldn't handle that and shut down. But 3.5 hours later, the sites are back. But the site is still case sensitive. I'm still working on that. I'm afraid of blowing up more transformers. I know I'm going to wait for a couple more to ship in before I make changes again, just in case.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's the story.
So,
by the way, everybody, Jim's got his own Midnight Freddie tag now on Twitter, which I think is really cool. And even
so just go ahead and shoot over your Linux questions.
and even got on to me earlier for tweeting without using the hashtag. So I'm all like, tech producers keeping me in line.
Yeah.
We're moving up in the world.
And incidentally, our number of viewers is now up to 20/38. I'm not quite sure what that means, if it's a 20/38th of a viewer, or if we had that many viewers. I think they're not quite paying attention, so there's a fractional number.
Oh my.
I have is the mic out of the camera?
It is.
Real quick, Data Chick on Twitter is asking you. She's having trouble getting in, and I've directed her to the web stream. I'll be quiet now. Go ahead.
I have such a yummy story to tell.
Is it yummy?
It is yummy.
Is it? Is it, Sean?
It's just more wild DBA antics. What can I say?
All right.
So.
And after that, I got a little lightweight topic.
This is very lightweight.
Oh well, we're just all lightweight tonight.
Okay, so I'm just about to leave work today.
Na.
And I get up and I go say, I was going to go say bye to my buddy George, who is our big web portal TL, right? And so, I mean, we've become quite good friends since I've started there, and so much so that, I mean, we go to lunch a lot and hang out a lot, and everybody's starting to make jokes about us dating and all of that, right?
Yeah,
Which is
jokes.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I went over there to say bye to him. I didn't realize he was gone, and when I went there, one of his guys was like, "Oh, well, he left. He was sick and so on and so on." And he said, "Is there something I can help you with?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. I doubt it. I think I left my underwear in his car, and I was just asking him. I was just going over to ask him if he found it."
You did not say that to a guy.
And not only did he completely lose it, but the little Vietnamese guy that sits over here, I didn't hear a word, but he stands up and comes over there and says, "I was eating something that was caught in my throat, and you dislodged it, so thanks for that." And then they were both just like, yeah, we're going to leave that one alone, and you go have a good weekend all the same.
My shit, I has lost it.
Yes. So that's my funny story about George's undies.
I'm
They're
gonna...
my undies, but they're his undies now.
Absolutely. I actually have two very lightweight things, and I'm gonna let you pick.
You gonna let me pick?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you pick based on category. Would you like the very lightweight question from me, or the very lightweight question from a viewer?
Oh, I always like the viewer questions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually the one that's written just on here. So, we are to discuss fun things to do when your boss is out of town for 11 days and how to get away with it.
Oh, my.
Which I thought is just right up your alley. That's from Sequel Princess, everybody. You can find her blog now linked from the groupies page. It's over there on the right.
You know what one of my favorite land jokes is?
What is one of your favorite land jokes? Taking the token out?
Yes, exactly. Is to take someone that you don't like, who just really kind of pisses you off, right? And
punch really hard.
No.
Oh.
And set up like 5 or 6 SQL jobs on different servers to take their login and try to log into different network locations in rapid fire with the wrong password so that it locks them out like 3 or 4 times a day.
Not that you would ever do such a thing.
Not that I would ever do anything like that myself.
That's kind of an anytime thing. That's not even a
It's
when the
best
boss
to do when your boss isn't there, because nobody really knows who to go to ask anything, and it's always coming from a different box. And and now with PowerShell remoting, my God, you could set up a scheduled task on PowerShell to remote into another box so that it's all to a random box on the network, and they'd never track that thing down. I'm just saying, some funny stuff like that, right? Yeah.
I didn't actually mention this. I'm not sure this strictly counts, but it's what came to mind. I didn't mention this in the 24 Hours of Past talk, but I did mention it when I gave the same talk that night in the user group.
I was licking the FedEx box.
It's a USPS box.
What else?
And the cat's licking the dog.
Hello.
Hello, dog. Okay. One of the pieces of my talk is about... I don't remember which application it was, but I had gone through, to demonstrate the code, I had gone through into the human resources, looking through employees. And as I'm looking at the employee table, you've got your employee name, and you've got their age, and you've got their gender, marital status, you've got, not their actual salary, but like their salary level, and like vacation days. And I started thinking, it would be really kind of a great misuse of company data to go in and find the best person to hit on based on their age and how much money they make and how much vacation time they have left, because you want somebody that's got a lot of free time to spend with you and so forth and so on.
Well, it matters how much vacation time you have left too, doesn't it?
Well, you've got a hold of the database. You can alter those numbers. I suppose you could alter theirs too, but then they
9 times.
9 times. That's right. Excellent.
Okay, finish your thing.
That was just kind of it.
Okay.
That doesn't really necessarily count, but
I like where you're
there
going
are directions
with that.
to go with that.
That's something you're going to put into the past one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was. I'm sorry, last thing. I had actually written a function to spit out different come on lines to use on a person based on their age.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, like, do you know, like, 9 Inch Nails?
No. Well, yeah, it's that all the way down to I would marry your cat just to get into your family.
I see that.
I went to a website and got pickup lines.
Go.
There's some bad ones out there.
Go.
All right, so that's my little sort of
But
not answer.
you were talking, you just said that, you've got access to the database, so you can change those. Man, I have always been so afraid to do anything like that. To get in a database and alter something like alter my
I wouldn't
vacation
actually
days.
do it.
It's like,
Oh, no.
oh my God, man.
No, that would
you
be bad.
will get caught.
You will get caught and you'll lose your job. Of course,
Because
it's not worth it. That's what makes it
you try
a
it
joke.
once and you get away with it, and it's something minor.
Bit killer.
I know, but you try it once and it's a gateway, right? Messing with vacation days are a gateway.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a gateway drug.
But eventually you're going to start going, wow, I could just go in and just like change my salary by like $5. And you go in there and you're like, wow. And then you start getting bold. Next thing you know, they start auditing the system and saying, well, why the hell do we have a level 2 DBA making $250K, right? So.
I tell you what, I am painfully, are you looking at this one?
No.
Fairly painfully honest when it comes to stuff like that. I think people are quite lucky because I've been in so many shops that, I'm not going to go Office Space and say, I could rob this place blind, man. But seriously, they kind of wouldn't know for a very long time if I screwed
What do you mean
something
you're
like
going to
that
stick out to the bitter end?
Yeah, I was going to front him out too. Jason Horner of Wisconsin. No, I don't know where you're from, but what do you mean stick it out to the bitter end?
Oh, I love it that. It's my production values. It's keeping them around.
Well, yeah. It says,
Well, yeah,
in all
but-
of the high production values of the Midnight DBA podcast, I'm going to stick this out to the bitter end.
Actually, it was pretty good until y'all started looking at the chat screen.
And do you mean the podcast or
Squirrel!
the live feed? Because
Well, I'm sure he means the live feed.
the podcast is,
Apparently,
something else.
we're not going very far with that topic, so I'm going to bring in my other topic anyway. And this is a very simple, you don't even have to explain your answer. If you had a man crush on somebody, who would it be on? Assuming that you don't already. And this is kind of a serious thing as far as like famous people.
Famous people, so it doesn't have to be like anybody in sequel.
No.
Okay.
No, I'll stick to famous people.
Nobody I work with either?
No.
Okay.
Somebody we've heard of, maybe.
So you've heard of. If I were going to, like
Like a man crush, not
no,
a...
like a sexual good-looking thing, or just a guy that's like so cool that...
Take your pick. However you define man crush.
Wow, okay. From a man crush point of view, let's see, from like a dude's dude kind of thing.
Okay.
I'm not really crushing on him, but if I were to, I think it would be like, I think it might be like Vinny, or I mean, he's just a dude.
He's a dude.
I mean, he's a
Up
cool
until
dude,
this
right?
season, he's a dude.
Yeah,
for those who don't watch Entourage, Vinny is the main
Vinny Chase,
character.
yeah.
And
But
yeah,
there's-
he's a real dude. He's smooth. He's a ladies' man, but not in that sleazy way. He's young and he's hot
Yeah, he's just,
and he's
everything's chill, right?
and he's real laid back and he's nice to everybody.
But there's one other one, from Leverage. He's a cool dude too. Both of them.
From
the
main
computer
guy?
guy and the fighter guy. They're both
Hardison
and what's his name? They're
I
both.
could see that.
They're both. I mean, they both have the strong elements that are actually part of me already, right?
Yeah, you're a geek and a fighter. Oh my God, you are Hardison. What's his name? Why can't I remember his name?
I can't either. I can't. Come on, Jim. What's his name?
Well, cool. That's 3 man crushes for the price of
Look
one.
it up.
How awesome is that?
And on the sexual side.
Okay, moving along.
No, if it were going to be like, what guy do I think is like really good looking kind of thing?
Yeah, sure.
I honestly have to go with like somebody definitely him, but someone also very similar, like Rob Lowe. He's a good looking guy.
He is a good looking guy.
He's very clean.
I've got a
and
man
He's
crush
got a
on
strong
him.
jaw. I mean, he's a good looking guy.
He's a good looking
I
guy.
got no problems with Rob Lowe. Some of the guys that they consider really good looking, well, whatever, right? But he's a good looking guy.
You're really into clean cut men. With the exception of Vinny, so no offense, honey.
So anyway, that's what I got.
Well, excellent. That worked out quite well.
Yeah.
Brilliant. All right, shall we talk some...
She's gotten me late 4 times now.
And all with dudes.
All with dudes. That's
Or look at the cat. The cat made a kill.
Oh my.
Well, there's a little... Our kitten has a toy
Sounds, yeah.
cat and is carrying it off by the neck. Anyway, you can't see it because we're not going to move the cameras. All right, shall we do a little bit of maybe sequel-y goodness?
Do we have any sequel-y
I
goodness?
have some
You
sequel-y
have some
goodness.
sequel-y goodness?
I blogged today because in my talk on 24 Hours Have Passed, I got this question a few times in the blog, and in both times I gave the session. Nope, stay shiny.
I love to watch the cat make a kill. That's so
yeah,
cute.
it's very cute. Carrying
She
off
carries it off.
this little stuffed thing with a neck.
Well, she already destroyed the duck, man.
Yeah, the duck is dead.
Anyway, we ought to give her
Duck
like a
is
little
dead.
canary or something.
That'd be great.
Anyway,
you mean like a
go
real
ahead.
one?
Yeah, that's like
That
a
would be
real.
so mean.
I keep thinking of that picture with the cat in the cage and the canary on top. And he's like, "Don't ask." He's sitting there, he could barely fit in that cage. He's like,
But the first segment of this talk is talking about the logical processing order of select. And I'm not going to give the whole talk here, but essentially the SQL engine
for
reads,
further details, see her past session. On
Yeah, exactly.
Something.
reads the select statement in a different order than we write it. It starts with the from clause, and then the official listing in BOL is
Oh, I see.
here from, on, and then join. And the question came up a couple of times that, okay, if you evaluate on before you
Sorry about the
evaluate...
awesome illustration of this.
Shut up! I'm trying to get through a sentence. If you evaluate the on clause before you evaluate the join clause, then how is it that you can use table aliases that are in the join clause within the on clause? Are you following me on that? And I was like, well, I don't know, and I gave a sort of, well, I imagine that it's like this and that and the other, and then I thought about it, and then I went looking on the internets, and I found this really cool chart that Itzik had done. It's in I think it's in the T-SQL Fundamentals book, but it's available through his website.
Okay.
Of that exact logical processing, and done in a flowchart form. And it actually shows, start with select here. Are you kidding me?
We don't have enough problems with concentration.
Oh, the light, and toward it.
Now you just made the focus go out.
But it reminded me that when SQL does a join, it's in 3 parts. And the first part of any join is to do that Cartesian product, to do a cross join first. So if it's an inner join, then first it does the cross join, and then it applies the on clause to see which of those rows it keeps.
Okay.
And then, if it's also an outer join, then it does the Cartesian product, the cross join. It does the on clause to find out which ones match, and then it adds the outer rows.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
technically, it's not from on join, it's from, and then in the join clause, Cartesian product on outer.
I see.
That's the answer. If you have further questions, check out my blog from today.
You okay there?
I've been working on my evil laugh.
I see. We'll keep working.
Okay, I'll keep
The
working.
dog is licking my ankle.
I'm happy and sad for you.
That's actually code for something.
I'm really liking the folded up thing. It gives you kind of an Aussie look. I kind of wish you'd wear it further down on your head, but...
Alrighty then, mate. You mean like to squash my ears? I have to stuff my ears in it if I do that. It barely fits. It feels a little. But maybe it fits just right. I don't know.
Alright.
So anyway, wow, we managed to fit in 2 actual tech things in this episode.
How awesome are we?
How long have we been going, Jim?
45.
45. Okay.
Wow, aren't we cool? He's got a big clock. He's
Nice,
dancing around. It's
nice.
awesome.
Okay, let me see what I have. Does everybody want a tech topic or a soft topic? I mean a hard topic or a soft topic?
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon ignite.
I think he fell asleep.
Afternoon ignite.
Hot topic. We request for a hot topic.
I don't know if I have it hot.
What is a hot topic?
Oh, it's the store in the mall where they sell these really rad
Hot
t-shirts.
topic? Oh,
Do
wait a
the
minute.
kids
That's
say
hot
rad
pocket.
anymore?
I don't know. Hey, do y'all say rad anymore?